She was still holding her glass of rose when the sewage started gurgling up through the hose, and the scream she let out? Pure horror movie. That's what happens when someone messes with a firefighter's gear and thinks they're above the rules. I didn't have to touch a single thing in her yard. I just rerouted the line back where it should have gone in the first place to the gray water overflow, not my drinking supply. She used my forest fire hose for her backyard party, without asking, and I don't play nice when it comes to life-saving equipment. Let me back up. I'm Hank 43, retired wildland firefighter, now a volunteer up here in the Cascades. I moved to this quiet mountain community for peace after 2 decades of running into flames. Built the cabin myself with reclaimed pine, solar panels, and yes, a dedicated 300-foot emergency hose line that runs through the forest for brush fire defense. It's not ornamental. It's survival. I've fought fires where 10 seconds made the difference between saving a house and watching burn. So yeah, that hose matters. And things were quiet until Karen moved in. Her real name's Shelley, but you know how it is. Bleach blonde bob, loud voice, louder entitlement. Moved up here from Sacramento and immediately got herself on the HOA board, acting like she invented mountain living. Started sending violation letters about inconsistent stain color on people's decks and non-standard gravel size in driveways. I ignored her. I figured she'd get bored. She didn't. First sign something was off, my pressure dropped. I went to test the emergency hose line one morning after a week of hot, dry weather. When I turned the valve, I got a sputter, then nothing but air. My system is gravity-fed from a cistern on the ridge, no pump, no moving parts. It never fails. I thought maybe a critter chewed through a line. So I walked the path. Halfway through the woods, I stopped. My bright orange fire hose was gone, cut clean from its brass coupling, dragged toward Karen's yard. I followed the trail like breadcrumbs, snapped branches, boot prints, even a red Solo cup. I couldn't believe it when I saw the hose reattached to a sprinkler manifold behind her fence, running through a slip-in slide in her backyard. Kids screaming, people drinking, tiki torches everywhere. And there she was, queen of the mountain, grinning in a folding chair like she'd just founded Napa Valley. I stood at her gate. That's emergency equipment, I called. That hose is for wildfires. You gotta shut it off now. She waved like I was a waiter and shouted back, "Relax, it's just water. You weren't using it." I felt my blood boil. That water isn't treated, it's not even from the municipal line. She shrugged. My guests don't care. I walked away before I said something I couldn't take back. But inside, I was seething. Then things escalated. That night, I got an HO and notice taped to my door. Unauthorized exterior equipment visible from common trail. Violation 117B. My hose. My fire hose. I filed a complaint, explained the function, cited state code for rural firefighting prep no use. Next week, another notice. Hose improperly stored. Must be removed or relocated by Friday or be fined $250 per day. You ever feel like someone's pushing you just to see how far they can go? I was about to comply. I was mad, but not reckless until I met Carla. She was hiking up from the lake trail, saw me coiling a new hose by the cabin. Mid-50s, ex-Army medic, flannel and boots. Turned out she was a former paramedic instructor, just bought the A-frame 3 doors down. You're Hank, right? I heard about the hose incident. Word spreads fast. I nodded, still frustrated. Don't let her bully you, she said. She tried to find me for having a trauma kit on my porch. We laughed, dark, bitter, but real. Then she said something that stuck with me. Bullies like Karen don't understand boundaries. They only understand consequences. And just like that, something in me flipped. Karen wasn't just being annoying. She was compromising safety. Not just mine, the entire community's. That hose wasn't ornamental. In a dry season, that line could be the first and only defense against a forest fire racing down the ridge. And she stole it like it was party decor. Then she went full nuclear. The next weekend, she hosted another party louder this time, with music echoing down the canyon. And again, my hose was missing. I checked the cistern valve, it was turned off. She'd walked into the forest, onto my land, and shut my water off. I didn't sleep that night. Instead, I dug up the old gray water diversion line. Back when I first built the place, I had a separate trench for used shower water to flow off safely before I upgraded the system. The line still worked, and it ran right by Karen's fence. You see where this is going. I waited until Sunday party in full swing. Wine flowing. Lawn chairs lined up. Karen in a sun hat and sundress, laughing with some guy in cargo shorts. I didn't touch her yard. Didn't break a single law. All I did was unhook her illegal hose connection from my clean system and attach it to the old gray water output. Then I flipped the valve. Within 30 seconds, the tiki torches were out. Kids screamed. Adults scrambled. A murky, foul-smelling sludge erupted from the sprinkler head and soaked the lawn. Karen slipped, trying to yank the hose out, her dress plastered to her legs. I stood on my deck, arms crossed. Didn't say a word. By the time she saw me, the sheriff's deputy was already pulling up. Someone had reported a biohazard leak. I hadn't made that call, Carla had. Karen was cited for illegal tampering with utility systems, trespassing, and creating a public health hazard. Her HOA title, suspended pending review. But it wasn't over. I sent a report to the state fire marshal's office, complete with photos, timestamps, and satellite overlays showing my original hose path and where it had been rerouted. They took it seriously. Turns out rural fire prep is not something you mess around with in wildfire zones. The HOA got slapped with a $25,000 fine for obstructing fire mitigation measures. Karen was removed from the board 2 weeks later, and a public apology was issued in the community newsletter. I got my hose back, mounted, shielded, and locked this time. And the best part? Carla and I got voted onto the HOA Safety Committee. First motion we passed, mandatory training on emergency infrastructure and respect for private property. Now I sit here some nights on the same deck, watching the wind brush through the pines, and I think about how close this came to something worse. If she'd done that in late August in the middle of fire season, we wouldn't be talking about hoses and parties. We'd be talking about ashes. So yeah, I rerouted her fun straight into her own mess. Didn't have to yell. Didn't have to fight. Just had to know my system better than she did. People say revenge is petty, but I think this was justice. Still, makes you wonder if someone like her could so casually risk everything for a lawn party. What would she do if there really was a fire? Would she grab a hose? Or just blame someone else? What would you do if your safety came second to someone's party plans? Hit subscribe if you believe some consequences just need to happen.